What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another session of Tales of Dordania. So happy everybody is here. We got some fun stuff in store and planned, and as you can see, we got some color added to the city and to the town now.
Oh yeah.
Uncle Jimmy and myself have been very hard at work.
Life is coming to the city.
Not only designing stuff for Co-Creations, our business, and also for our storyline and this whole D&D campaign world that we've been making 3D. But we've been trying to bring it to life a little bit more too with some paint and some great detail, and I'll be doing some close-ups and editing those in simultaneously too, so you guys can check them out and whatnot. But I'm quite proud of them. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, just as like, checking some of the things out for first time. I mean, you guys haven't seen this stuff till tonight, really. Paul's maybe seen a little bit, but thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. We're excited, man. I'm excited, dude. This is gonna be a fun night. All right, so where we left off, for those of you that don't know, Theo has kind of just, gave in, Kieran, Kai, the rundown, and Behemoth on kind of what's going on, the mission at hand, going to check out the monastery, check out the monks over there, and see what's kind of going down. See if they truly are under attack, see if things have been taken, see who all's left, see if they need help, whatever's kind of going on. Theo, the reason he can't go himself, he has some matters he has to attend to over one of the islands kind of off big continent. So he's sending the guys and the crew onto this bigger quest to go check out the monks at the monastery. And as far as map goes, and I'll throw this in too, it is across the broken bridge that no longer exists and was destroyed during the Dracula Wars, and across the whole island of Alacardia and actually into the bigger continent. So you guys are going to the big land, you're going to the mainland. And High Oak Forest is kind of think like Sherwood Oak Forest. It's kind of mysterious, something maybe enchanted, different things to happen throughout the forest, and a lot of rumors and tales of all sorts of things that you kind of lurk about. And so that is where they're headed. And Theo has also told them that Tarek is going to try to join them in the morning if he's feeling up to it and his kind of, surgery has progressed and he is now, kind of getting back to his feet. He is also getting currently healed by Akpu and Inoki. They actually swung by the castle that evening, and they're actually they're putting, casting healing spells over Tarek's body to help kind of amplify and speed up the healing process for the surgery that he underwent. And so that way too, Abaddon's not such a, bitch to deal with while you're, healing, because nobody wants to deal with that either.
My question here is, he can be healed for this quest?
You're about to find out.
Okay.
And with that, Theo actually let you guys all spend the night in the castle. So you guys all actually have just been shown down to level 2, kind of the main quarters. But he's been here a couple times. So with Tarek, as though he is not here, you have Kai and Kieran with you. And Theo says you guys can kind of chill here in the evening. He definitely says to swing by Ursos to shop in the morning. And Kai, he had given you, after your heroic speech and true tale of your heart and what you're trying to go for here, as so well displayed by part-time Kai Garrett, which again is bravo. You got this badass golden, kind of like purple, shimmery hexagon disc that Theo gave you. Now I'm going to touch more on that in a second here. And you guys kind of make your way down into the second quarters. Theo says to swing by Ursul's shop in the morning, and if Tarek is feeling up to it, he will join you kind of in the city before you guys head out on this quest and on this journey. So kind of last gear up before you guys kind of, head out and all that good stuff. And as you all can see, we have another part-time Kai. And to be honest with you, I was pretty much planning on killing Kai off in this session. And you're going to see exactly what happens and if I'm actually able to pull it off or not. But we had an issue, and Paul actually had to step out as well. So I ended up playing Kai for pretty much the whole session. And again, if you don't show up, bad things are going to happen to your character. Now, as our adventurers, spent the night in Theo's castle, then woke up the next morning and started heading out, Tarek was feeling up to able to be able to go on the quest with them and leave town right at the start. And luckily, his surgery was going very well. He is keeping Abaddon at bay. He's got his mind, body, and spirit all attuned with each other, and things are going very, very good for Tarek. And as our party is kind of heading out through town, they definitely swing by Ursus's shop. And Kai says sorry, but before so, he kind of gives this magical purple token actually up to Behemoth. And Behemoth cashes it in with Ursos Arctos and is looking for a pet. And again, he's been, reading up on his book of animal handling, and he would really love a pet that he could kind of bond with and kind of grow in this journey with as he is, venturing through Dordania. And Ursos doesn't tell him how he gets this pet, but he kind of presents, after a few moments of being in his shop alone, a weird kind of knockoff chimera hybrid type creature. It has kind of the back legs of a dog, the front legs of a weird lizard, kind of the front half of a lizard as well. The head is a weird mix of kind of a dog turtle lizard thing. And the tail is that of a very, very bushy foxtail. And so it's kind of interesting as far as a creature goes. And he presents him this small, young, weird chimera knockoff. And Behemoth is beyond excited. So Behemoth gets that. Everyone else kind of gears up, grabs some potions, some other kind of things that they need. But again, not every shop is open as they are leaving very early in the morning. So they unfortunately can only really grab what they can from the shops that are open. And as they make their way then out of town, they start heading out towards the bigger continent and towards High Oak Forest. Now again, Alacardia is on an island, and it is one of the biggest islands in Dordania, and it is also the closest island right off the main continent as well. And there's a couple different kingdoms throughout the main continent, but I'll go through that again in another episode. Now, as they start making their way out, it takes them about maybe 2.5, 3 hours or so till they reach kind of the edge of Alacardia. And as they do, they realize that Alacardia kind of sits almost in a bowl, and it is surrounded by these very, very high arching, rigid, black obsidian kind of glass cliffs. And literally these cliffs go from anywhere to 35 to around 50 feet high up, and it is a very, very steep, sheer kind of a hill as far as it ramping up to the edge of this kind of bowl kind of a perimeter around the entire island itself. And as they search around for a little bit, they actually find a path that will allow them to, it seems, kind of get to the top of the cliffs here. And so they attempt to make their way up the cliffs. So this is all new 3D printed stuff that Uncle Jimmy and myself have designed, made. You cannot find this stuff literally anywhere. We designed it all from scratch, from our own noggins, from the imagination that you see before you. And very excited about this. This is kind of our cliff kind of play set with some water going into High Oak Forest with a couple styles of our trees. And yeah, we're going to keep rocking and rolling, but very excited about showing this stuff off, displaying it, and letting you guys, viewers, kind of see, again, just this 3D D&D world kind of come to life and just how it kind of helps affect the play style.
And seeing how our hero's face was.
So, as the mist is starting to fade a little bit on this edge, and you guys almost, looks like you can see the sun on like the other side of this like cliff, as it like the sky is kind of just glowing yellow over kind of past that. And of course, the party makes their way up the path as they attempt to climb this cliff and kind of this path up to the top ridge. And this pathway is very rugged. I don't know if anyone's ever hiked a volcano, but it's very similar to that kind of terrain. A lot of almost kind of volcanic glass, a lot of just different pumice stone, a lot of kind of just weird obsidian shards. Everything is very sharp and jagged as far as where you're walking on and where you're grabbing onto as well. So, not gonna lie, it takes the party a good bit making their way up this path as they're attempting to get to the top here of this cliff. But unfortunately, they kind of get to a halfway point where, you know, it's either do or die. They got to make it to the top because there's not really any other better way around that they saw either. So they push on forward and they make it up. And Behemoth even had his little pet, which, by the way, he named his pet Blur. And Blur was following Behemoth about a quarter of the way up, and then he started taking a lot of damage from this just sharp terrain. And he couldn't handle it anymore, so Behemoth went ahead and put Blur in his backpack, and they continued kind of on and forward. Now, they made their way through without taking, too much damage. A couple of them fell back, a bit here and there, 5-10 feet, at a time as they're kind of pushing on forward. This path was only really about wide enough for one of them to travel at a time, so they kind of had to go about it in a single file manner. But after about an hour and a half to 2 hours of climbing this weird cliff, they were able to all make their way up to the very top. And
What a sight to behold as they then gazed out upon not only High Oak Forest, but this is the first time they've seen sunlight in a very, very good amount of time. I mean, it's been weeks and weeks for some of these characters, months. And they see trees, they see nature, they see all this stuff. They can hear the water crashing against the cliffs below. They see the water itself as well, and the ocean as it's kind of, coming through this kind of canal and separating the island from the bigger continent itself. And they can smell the sea spray as it's crashing amongst the cliffs, and they hear, almost kind of birds chirping far off in the skies above, and it is just a very different scene from what they have been used to here in Alacardia for the past bit that they have been traveling through. And as they kind of get to the top, they start trying to figure out how they're going to cross this thing. They start kind of looking around, and there seems to be a couple of different ledges, some kind of different platforms on this cliff face that they could maybe either rappel down to or jump down to. But again, the terrain is kind of jagged, and it's a little bit hard to just kind of be leaping down onto, unforeseen terrain and platforms, as well as whether or not they're going to hold you or whether you're even going to be able to make the jump itself. So after much debate, they figure that the best course of action is to have Kieran load up his crossbow and attach some of their ropes together so that way they have enough distance, because the gap before them, it's about a 50-foot gap. And it's about a 45-foot drop down to the water below. And this face side is much steeper than the side they just climbed up, if you can believe that. And as they're doing this, they tell Kieran to ready his crossbow, and he actually is going to shoot a cable pretty much from his crossbow to the other side, just directly into the rock, and he actually succeeds in doing so very well. And he is going to try to make kind of a line for them to kind of zip line over to one of these platforms on the other side. So as he readies his bow and shoots, he is able to fasten and secure a line on the other side at kind of the highest ledge from the very top of the cliff on the other side itself. And as he does, they kind of test the strength, and it looks like it's going to hold. And two of them are able to slide over to this platform. And right before Tarrig and Kai are able to join Behemoth and Kieran on the other side, they start hearing a rumbling, and a storm starts kind of settling in. And all of a sudden, a very dark, ominous figure starts to rise from the water below. And it is a kraken. And this definitely catches the team off guard as they are about to either flee or battle this kraken for literally their lives.
Alrighty. And now as we've kind of changed camera view for this battle, since I wanted everybody to be able to see it and not miss anything, you all get to look at Tarrig's beautiful face and see how all of his facial reactions and all that kind of good stuff. So, away we go. As this kraken rises to the surface of the water, it's big and it's massive, and it looks a little angry, a little hungry, a little pissed too. And from what you can tell, out of the water is about 15 feet long on the bridge, from like the head kind of to this like spiky kind of point. You can't tell what else is underneath the water or how long it truly is in nature. You see what looks to be 6 tentacles rising up out of the water at various points around him. So you all kind of see this, okay? You got 2 kind of back here, 2 here, and then 2 closer up front there. And you see these kind of 6 tentacles as they kind of, start rising up, kind of out of the water too and everything. And it actually is going to be the Kraken's turn first.
Nice.
And give me a slight second here. I've got to get away. I want to break free. I want to get away.
It's so funny that you all break from the song.
Away. Yeah.
And the song kind of just fits the
Moment.
I want to get away. I want to fly away. Who sings that?
Lenny Kravitz.
Exactly.
Caracas!
The first husband of Lisa Bonet.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? All right, guys, here we go. Ready to rock. and roll, as it were.
Someone's
Okay?
gonna die.
I'm ready to die.
Kraken is going first, and he is going to use his multi-attack, which means he can attack with 3 of his tentacles, doing 3 tentacle attacks. He can each of them replace 1 using fling, which is kind of cool too, which I'll get into in a second. But for right now, he's going to do a couple tentacle strikies and movements here. And we're going to say, for all intents and purposes, everybody, this is tentacle 1. That's tentacle 2.
They each have a separate turn.
That's tentacle. No, they each have different helps.
Okay.
This is tentacle 3. It's tentacle 4. Tentacle 5. Tentacle 6. Evens. Odds. 1 all the way back. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh,
So
they
everyone
got
keep
it.
track.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we're going to have tentacle
2.
2, 4, and 6. They're coming up after you, Behemoth, and you, Kieran. And they are going to kind of climb and slither up the face of the cliff before they just lash and kind of shoot right at you, trying to smack you off of the rocks. Now, give me a second here, I gotta roll the hit.
I just want to dodge.
Do your best.
That's going to be a 27 to hit. So, don't need your guys' armor class or anything. Don't even worry about it. Next one's going to be a 19 to hit. I think it's past both your guys' armor classes. And the next one's going to be a 25 to hit. So, Mr. Kraken's going to hit with all 3 of his tentacles. And with tentacle number 6, he is going to try and grapple you, Behemoth. Roll a dexterity saving throw. See if you're grappled or not, and then I'll tell you how much damage y'all have taken.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, this tentacle, as it smacks you against the rock and you're on your platform, you kind of get thrown back against the rock. You kind of wraps then around your leg and starts pulling you over to the edge. And you grab on to the edge, like with your hand, with dear life, dude. You're clawing into that with everything you've got, okay? All your gear, blur, everything's in your backpack, on your back, all that kind of good stuff. You're like hanging on to that edge for dear life. Also, from the smack, you got hit once, so you're going to take, and from the grapple, you're going to take
That's a 15.
8 damage. Then you get hit twice. You're going to get double smacked. Once off of the rocks, and then literally as you're falling, another one's going to come and smack you down onto the face of the rock. So Behemoth's holding onto the edge. You're now like laying down on that face of that rock where you climbed up onto, okay?
Wait.
And
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Draken,
Yeah.
you take
Damn, son.
7 damage total from the 2. And as Tarek, you see this, you're like,
Let's stay up here.
What the frick?
That thing's strong. I did not see that one coming.
Walks back
What would you
down
like to do,
the
Tarek? Or sorry, no. We jump over to,
It's my turn.
as you see this, we jump over to you, Kieran.
Sick.
And you're laying down face first
Yeah,
on the rock.
let's stand up.
Okay,
Good.
bonus action to stand up.
Oh. Okay.
You burned his fire.
No, dude, I
It's
I heard that.
It's gone.
And,
Okay, so I still take a bonus action, stand up. I still got 2 actions.
yep.
First action, I'm gonna heal my ass up.
Okay.
I'm gonna use the greater one, which is 44s, you said?
Yep, 44 plus 4.
Cool.
So drink that, hand me the greater. You have expended it. See, that just was so nice and satisfying.
Right.
16. Sick. I'm back at 4.
Okay. Then what would you like to do with your other action? After you popped off a vial of this greater healing potion and down the hatch we went. Behemoth is hanging onto the edge, by the way, for dear life. doing that.
Great.
What would you like to do?
I mean, just saying, ah!
Now, just for the listeners, I'm gonna tell you my thought process right now. See, this man is hanging, and this thing is hungry. I mean, I could just leave him as bait and get the fuck out of there.
And Behemoth's commentary is that he recognizes the selfish bastard's motivation for this. So, I understand this.
You're grabbing even tighter. You're just like,
It's still like, I can still try to do this.
So what would you like to do?
Or I can save him. I guess we'll save him.
Okay. How would you like to save him? You want to
Sadist.
arms? Or do you
There's
want
no
to do?
room up here. What am I supposed to do?
You guys are half the size of a full guy. You both could fit on the ledge.
Exactly.
Can we? I bet. I'm gonna pull him up.
I mean,
what am I gonna roll?
it's gonna be comfy, but you can do it.
So roll for strength because you're going to play tug of war with a tentacle of them.
14.
Okay. Versus my F. 24.
I give up.
As
I quit.
you grab
You get pulled under with his ass.
You grab
Should've just left
Behemoth's
me die.
arms and you start pulling with all of your might. This tentacle whips you guys off this ledge and you're hanging out onto Behemoth for dear life. And you guys are literally getting flung around, just kind of in the air by this tentacle right here. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of lets you go, flings you both up into the air.
Oh, hell no.
Now,
Let's land on top of it.
as you're falling, both of you make a acrobatics check.
It's an 11. For me, dog.
Okay, would you get for acrobatics there, Behemoth?
Hold up, I'm looking at something. Uh, 13.
Okay. Behemoth, as you are falling, you realize this cliff right here you can maybe land to if you position yourself right, and you kind of turn your body midair and you end up grabbing on the edge of the cliff and you pull yourself up. And you're on this platform over here if you want to take a look. Excuse me. You, however,
No.
dear Kieran, you are just falling down and you hit right on the edge here hard, like on your back. And you're almost like the waves were kind of almost crashing up kind of onto this little bit of a ledge here. And you're going to go ahead and take...
And as you guys see, the Kraken is kind of giving them the business. And I didn't even go with full Kraken stats as far as what's in the book because they're kind of insane. So I went with a very young, very young, kind of a teenage Kraken to kind of, bring the stats to a more suitable level. But even with that, the party was definitely having some difficulty. And Tarek actually did have a very nice move where he cast Thunder Wave. And he kind of cast it actually on the cliffside that he was kind of standing on. And he was able to knock off and break off one of these platforms. And as it plummeted down into the water, it severed one of the tentacles of the Kraken. So that was a very good move by Tarek. And also, Kai actually had a great move where, again, I'm playing Kai and trying to kill him, but Kai did survive. And he actually had a great move where he leaped down onto the back of the Kraken and did kind of a combo attack with his staff and with his fists. And then he tried to leap, and in doing so kind of got launched with a reaction from the Kraken into the other side of the cliffs, and he's kind of hanging on for dear life. So a bit crazy there. And as we kind of continued, Behemoth got a little bit tired, so this is actually where we're going to stop. Before we do so, here's a little recap.
Well, with that being said, then, this is where we'll stop for the evening. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another session of Tales of Dordania. And definitely tune in next week to see what happens to the crew and how they fare against this Kraken as they're trying to get across this gap over to High Oak Forest to go check on the dang monastery. But this Mr. Kraken just had to be hungry and had to, come up on you guys. You're trying to bridge the gap.
Yeah, what a great on the way boss, bro.
On the way, boss, you know what I
On
mean?
the way,
So
boss.
as you guys
I
are
like
making
that.
your way, Everybody's kind of emotional. We'll do a recap where everybody's at. Kai has just been launched in the air and is literally hanging on for dear life onto the very edge of the cliffs, about 40 feet in the air. Kieran is on the very, very edge of the cliffs, and he got smacked down by a tentacle, just stood up and got himself ready, got his crossbow ready, and sent his bird out to go heal Tarek and get Tarek back up on his feet. Tarek is now alive and well. Well, not well, but he's doing better than he was. And Behemoth, unfortunately, did not do the greatest job snake charming the tentacle and realized that this tentacle is not a snake and does not have ears either. And, however, wants to just kill and eat. So it dove right at him. He did protect his loot, however, but poor Blur is only at 1 HP left. And Behemoth took a mad blow there as well. And with that, then it's going to jump to Behemoth's turn, where we bring up next time. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And catch us next week. Take care and God bless.